Walmart has the trusted brands and products your kids need for school.
Like HP Chromebooks?
Yep.
Reebok hoodies?
Yep.
Pokemon pencil cases?
I think you know the answer, but just in case, yes. Go back in style with Walmart.
The most exciting part of a vacation stay at a home rental? Easy. It's being greeted upon arrival with a rusted lockbox affixed to the underside of a stranger's condo. Yeah, you simply twist knobs, click gears, jiggle it, and then rip it off its moorings, and voila! Your prize is a key to a questionable home rental and maybe tetanus. When you just want to get your vacation started by actually getting into your room, it matters where you stay. At Hilton, we deliver your key right to your phone on the Hilton Honors app. Hilton for the stay.
Hello?
Hey, Mom, what dog food do you feed Daisy?
Daisy gets Blue Buffalo, life protection formula.
I see IAMS. Can I just grab that?
Well, what are the ingredients?
Let's see. It's chicken, ground whole grain corn, ground whole grain sorghum, chicken byproduct meal.
What about Blue?
Chicken meal, brown rice, oatmeal, barley. Okay, I'll grab Blue Buffalo. Thanks, Mom.
Switch to Blue Life Protection Formula and feed your dog like family.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. I'm Zach. I'm here with Laura. Okay, wow, it's been a crazy few weeks here in Marriage Therapy Radio land. Laura and I just taught the Art and Science of Love this last weekend for the Gottman Institute. I thought it went well. I thought people had a good time. We learned a lot, and it was fun for us to be able to do that finally and just kind of get on the other side and kind of shake our heads out. Last week I had to interview by myself. A lot of you asked if that was a result of the episode that came before. It was not. It was just a circumstance of timing. And this episode is a little wonky. I think we're just kind of trying to find our sea legs again. But, you know, we stumbled on a topic that I think is actually pretty important. It's the idea that you see what you're looking for. If we are scanning the environment and looking around for stuff to disappoint us, upset us, make us sad or angry, we're going to find it. But sometimes you need to go out of your way just to look for stuff that delights you and brings you joy. That's a little bit of what we talk about today. It's a very cool conversation. Stick around.
Are you excited to come see me?
I am excited to get on the other side of this workshop. That is for sure. It is killing me. And because I'm doing the thing that I hate, which is technology, trying to figure out technology, which only means, okay, but here's the thing. Let me tell you something that's been really good about this for me. I'm definitely in a different space. This is real. And I don't know what to make of this. I'm going to talk to my therapist about it today, but this slideshow, I've been doing this slideshow for the Art and Science of Love. And I have had to both battle the slideshow, but also like my own sort of OCD and perfectionism. Like I'm really doing good work about saying this doesn't need to be perfect, or I can skimp here, or I don't have to like figure this out. And cause I'll over rev about, is the circle the same size as the one that's 10 slides from now? And will somebody notice that the circles are different sizes? I definitely will do that. And so Rebecca told me it's been 9 hours. I think she's overestimating, but I spent a lot of time kind of getting it done. And I finally cracked the code. I finally figured it out.
Okay.
And yesterday you went and looked at it and you were like, I found this and this. The thing that you looked at, it doesn't exist anymore. I deleted it. It's gone. I started all over from scratch. So
no way.
But I did all of that last night till about 1:30, which is why I'm fried.
Hold
right
on.
now.
Can I please share? This is
and then tonight I get on a plane and I come see you.
Yeah.
So,
which I'm good. I think that's really good. Like we need that for our relationship. But here's the thing that I thought was really funny. And I thought it was like a really artful repair, which was you using humor. So you've been working so hard. You guys, I love this about you. You've been working so hard on this PowerPoint, right? And I am playing the role of the critical wife friend, right? So I send you a text, work wife. I send you a text and
out of the blue,
we hadn't been communicating like at all, right?
Actually, what happened before that text was I asked you a question and you didn't answer it. And then you sent me a text out of blue, like 4 hours later.
Yeah. So yeah. And I just
that's my mindset.
This was out of the blue. And I just said, hey, I noticed that we're missing a few slides at the end of the intro. And I just basically was pointing out some flaws in this thing that you've been working really hard on. And you responded, yes. I think you misspelled. Wow, that looks like a ton of work. Thanks so much. Hope you're holding up. And I just laughed so hard because rather than saying, stop being like such a hard, critical woman to work with, you just used humor, and it just broke right through me. And I giggled and I was like, you are absolutely right. And I think I wrote back, like I owned it. And I was like, I'm a dum-dum. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah. I just, this is, again, I've been learning a lot about A, how to design a slideshow, but B, how to like manage my own stuff. And I'm not being entirely successful. It's a conversation I want to have with my therapist, but yeah, I'm doing it better than I used to because I'm aware that I'm fighting battles I don't really need to fight. Like again, about millimeters and design flaws and whatever else. So, but, I've decided that I'm going to start paying attention to things that make me happy. And can I tell you about what they are?
Yeah. Tell me about, well, hold on. So why are you doing this? Why are you paying attention to things that make you happy? Like, what's that all about? Is it just like a way to invite joy into your life? Because I can, because I want to, because if I don't, then I'll focus on all the things that are terrible, which is, I think it's just easier to do, right? That's what we learned about this 5-to-1 ratio thing. Right.
Things that are negative, they just take up more of your mind space. So you have to go out of your way sometimes to focus on things that are not. And so, I've been watching this show. It's called For All Mankind. It's a really cool show. It's on Apple TV or something that I'm really into right now. But it's all about the moon and the moon landing. And let me tell you something. This last week, the moon has been amazing. I was at a soccer game the other night, which was super cool because I was just sitting in the stands and I was watching the moon come up. It was a full moon. It was amazing and beautiful. And then, but this morning I was driving Mary to school and I'm looking at the moon because it's setting now. The full moon is setting right there in front of me. Yeah. And it just made me happy, man. The moon is cool and it's beautiful and this big old ball in the sky. And I just was like, I was trying to get Mary to care about it, but she doesn't because she's, a teenage girl. Yeah. And, but it made me really just like happy and full of joy. And I just decided I was going to. Have we talked about this on the podcast where like, the moon? No. But taking ordinary things like the moon and the sun are out every single freaking day of your life. And what you have done. Well, not really. The moon's not really out every single day of your life. Okay. I mean, it's there, but you can't see it. But I get what you're saying. All right. But what you have done is you have chosen to turn your attention to something and recognize this brings me joy. This is something that's really nice. And I love this. And I feel like maybe if we haven't talked about it, like my sense of smell is my most prominent sense. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm going to talk about smells. Anytime I like was standing next to a guy at the park the other day and I said, I don't want to be creepy, but I just need to smell you. And so I like brought him in close. Oh, that there's like the opposite. That's like the opposite of itself. What? I don't want to be creepy, but I just need to smell you. Those are like opposite statements. No, but if you are friends with me, you know that I need to sniff you at all times. Like I'm just like a sniffer. It's just something that brings me joy. Okay, wait, but this guy that was at the park, is this a guy that knows you or is this like a rando? No. It's a guy that knows me, but he's the husband of a wife friend of mine. He's also a friend, but like appropriate boundaries. Okay. I said, I'm just going to smell your arm. And I said, ooh, it's clean, fresh laundry and a little deodorant. That's nice. And I just said, and so I said, I'm not going to be creepy, but I find joy. Like my sense of smell is so strong that I find so much joy out of sniffing things that he was just, an innocent bystander in my pleasure. But okay, here's what I'm getting at. Okay. What I'm getting is that there's a way to intentionally tune in. There are simple pleasures every day. Simple pleasures every single day. And like the sun, the moon, these things are always present. And you have just chosen to focus on that and say, I can find joy and pleasure in this thing. I'm just going to pay attention to it. It's like mindfulness. So. Well, and there's two parts of that, of course. I mean, one is, to the mindfulness piece, one of it is just noticing, right? Like what the reality is, I looked at the moon. Mm-hmm. I thought it was awesome. Yeah. And then I was like, I think this is awesome. And I let myself just like feel awesome for like a minute. Yes. And then another thing happened that made me really happy. Do you have a song? Do you have a song that if it just comes on, you just become happy no matter what? I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. Obviously you do. I do. Okay. I do. It came on this morning. It's Galileo by the Indigo Girls. You have to sing it. I don't know this one. It goes like, Galileo's head was on a block. His crime was looking at the truth. And then it's got a bunch of stuff and they're harmonizing and there's like the guitars and then the live version's really cool because you can hear like the whole crowd singing it. I know. I'm trying to sing too. I'm I'm trying to sing loud and like, but it just like 100% of that time when that song comes on, I just get happy. Well, that happened this morning. So I had the moon and I had the song.
Do you know my song?
And I just decided, like, if I'm tired, even if I'm tired right now and I'm kind of fried and I'm a little frustrated at the technology, I'm going to just like be okay with this cool thing. Oh, and then there's one more thing. Can I tell you about one more thing?
Can I share my story?
Because I need three things.
Okay, let me share my
Oh, you have a song?
I just
Did you find a song?
It. Yep. It is Miley Cyrus's version of Jolene. And you can only find it on YouTube. You can't find it on like Apple Music.
That makes you happy?
Or oh, yeah. Oh, Miley is a talented singer. And this version of Jolene crushes. I'm just saying, like, go look up on YouTube Miley Cyrus's version of Jolene.
Yeah.
Jolene.
But Jolene makes you happy? Like, okay. All right. Yeah. I'll check it out.
Lil Nas also does a version of Jolene that's pretty awesome. Go on. All right. Number 3.
Right on.
3 things that brought you joy.
So Rebecca went out to dinner last night with a friend and she came home with some pizza, leftover pizza. I swear to God, it's the best pizza I've ever had in my whole life. Like I'm really kind of sad that I'm coming
about leftovers.
to Oregon.
I will feed you some.
I put it in the oven on 250 for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Heated it up just right. Oh my God. It was, I want to go there tonight, but I can't because I'm getting on an airplane.
Yeah.
And eat this pizza because they only have it in October. That's the only time this restaurant has this pizza. And I want it real bad. I want to go get this pizza and then I want to go watch the Dune movie and not talk to anybody for like 3 days.
Okay, I can do 1 out of 3 of those. You can watch the Dune movie with Ryan while you're here in Bend, Oregon. Here's the other thing that I have a question of. If you drop the name of this pizza place and then send them the podcast, I'm willing to bet that they will make you a pickle pizza that you can have when you get back. This is the place we go all the time. They know us. We have a spot that we go. Yeah. And so I'm sure that they will make me this pizza. I might check it out. Yeah, maybe I will. Okay. Can I share something with you? This idea that you brought up of like, I've been in a crummy space. Like you've been frustrated. So. You've been kind of struggling with like, figuring out, I hate learning curves, by the way. I'm not patient with learning curves at all.
Yeah,
which is
that's
why
a good way to think about it.
I was really, really happy that you wanted to take on this PowerPoint issue. So the learning curve, you've been
Rebecca keeps asking me, why are you doing this? Why isn't Laura doing it? Because if Laura does it, I'll be mad about it.
Yeah.
It won't be exactly the way I want it to be. And I will have,
we're very different people. Yes. I'm an 80%er. If it looks 80% decent, then I'm done. I just hit my mark and I'm like, oh, look at that. Ready to go. But it's always nice to have OCD, unless you're OCD and ADD, and then that's frustrating, which you're not. It's good. Okay.
But we are.
But we're very squirrely together. That sounds funny.
We're OCD and ADD. We have it right.
Okay. But this idea of finding joy in the simple pleasures is actually an exercise that I learned in my sex therapy school. So,
okay.
And it's called waking up the hands. Do you want to do it with me?
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Walmart has the trusted brands and products your kids need for school.
Like HP Chromebooks?
Yep.
Reebok hoodies?
Yep.
Pokemon pencil cases?
I think you know the answer, but just in case, yes. Go back in style with Walmart.
The most exciting part of a vacation stay at a home rental? Easy. It's being greeted upon arrival with a rusted lockbox affixed to the underside of a stranger's condo. Yeah, you simply twist knobs, click gears, jiggle it, and then rip it off its moorings, and voila! Your prize is a key to a questionable home rental and maybe tetanus. When you just want to get your vacation started by actually getting into your room, it matters where you stay. At Hilton, we deliver your key right to your phone on the Hilton Honors app. Hilton, for the stay.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Actually.
Okay. So we're gonna do this. Waking up the hands is you go and
wait. Why are we doing this? Is this going to be of value to people who are listening? Because I think I don't know if we've done that yet.
100%.
So people that are listening, we're having an episode today. It's called "Waking Up the Hands," and I don't know anything about what we're doing, but I did want to tell you that
no, we're really doing it. All right. So here's what you need to do. You're going to find an object, anything near you that you can pick up. Okay. And oh my gosh. Here's what Zach is holding up. He has one of those tiny hands that fits on your fingertip. I have something that I like to do with the tiny hands. Yes. All right. So you have a tiny hand and you've already sort of started doing what I want you to do. So I want you to get comfortable and get real like fussy with your comfort. So you can sit there and close your eyes and all you're going to do is focus on the object. And you're going to start just by kind of like touching it and just kind of running your fingers over it. Obviously, if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but play this episode back and you're just I want for you to feel this object up. And right now he's running the tiny hands over his face.
Okay. No, I'm taking you seriously.
Okay.
I really am.
All right.
I really am.
So with your eyes closed, you're just exploring this object. And I want for you to also if you're touching the object with your fingertips, explore the object maybe on the back of your hand. One of my favorite places, the inside of my wrist. And go slow because I'm watching you right now, Zach, and I notice that you're really kind of like getting kind of crazy with those tiny hands, but I want for you to go slow so you can feel the sensation. And then I want for you to just pay attention to when you hit something that is pleasurable, meaning maybe you find like holding the object in a certain way, you're like, oh, that feels good. Like that feels pleasurable. Or, you start rubbing the inside of your wrist and you're like, oh man, that feels good. I like that. And just stay with that and pay attention to it. And you can change the speed. You can kind of change, what you're touching your object with or where you're rubbing your object. And this isn't intended to be sexual. but I am intentional in using the language of pleasure. And then I want you to open your eyes, Zach, and just tell me about your experience. Like, what did you, as you were feeling up this object, what was your experience?
My experience was I really didn't want to do this.
I know.
But then I decided to trust
Thank you.
the process, which is exactly the same experience I'm having with my PowerPoint, to be honest. It's like, I really don't want to do this right now, but because I'm having all these feelings that I don't want to have. So, but I said, but I'm going to trust
Trust it.
Higher power, maybe.
Okay.
And so yeah, then I just kind of gave myself over to it, and I started to do the thing you said, and I was listening to my hands. I was waking up my hands, and that was experience that I wasn't going to have otherwise if I didn't do it on purpose.
So did you find something that you were like, ooh, that kind of feels nice. I found some pleasure.
I did.
What was it?
Yeah. Well, interestingly, the object that I chose is shaped like a hand. So it's literally like a little hand was rubbing.
Yeah. Waking up all four of your hands.
I don't know. Right there at the base of my pinky, I found a little thing that felt not quite like tickling, but it was definitely more sensitive than other parts of the palm of my hand.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, and I went through this, quite quickly and was speaking loudly because things just don't translate the same over podcasts. But
yeah,
here's the point of this entire object or of this entire exercise is that you took something. I'm holding a tiny Carmex. It's like a chapstick, and I found pleasure I just dropped it in rubbing the lid against my inner wrist. And I just kind of sat there. And what I love is that every time I have done this with any object I find, and with any couple that I've done this with, it is anything. You can find pleasure and joy in anything, literally anything, including the tiny hands that you're holding, a mug that you might have. And so I think it's all about tuning into like what you have done. This is where I'm bringing it back. What you have done I'm paying attention to the small things that happen all around me, the sun or the moon coming up and rising. It's there all the time. But unless you turn your attention and you turn the volume up on your ability to experience joy and pleasure, it's just going to be a freaking moon until you look at it and you say, oh, that's kind of nice. And you go, oh, wait a second. I'm going to sit with that for a second. I'm just going to pay attention to that feels nice. That looks nice. I'm enjoying this and allowing that to resonate.
Or it's just going to happen. You're not going to notice it at all. Right. Like the moon, the sun, whatever,
right.
Breeze on your face, the smell of the guy, like
totally
all of it can bring you into a sense that the world is bigger than your little tiny problem right now. Yeah.
And I think, okay, so I know that that's creepy, but the thing about smells for me is that I notice it and I don't just let it go.
There's nothing creepy about smells.
No, but I mean, like
there's something creepy about telling the guy you want to smell him. That's the creepy part. I need to smell you.
Well, it was either that or I'm going to like wrap him up in a hug and spend a little too long on it. But it's that I'm noticing, and with like some people, like with your eyes, catching the moon with your eyes and holding that gaze and being like, wow, I'm just going to let that cool moon wash over me. That's really neat. For me, it's, wow, that smells really good. I'm going to go in and get some more of that because that makes me feel good. And I'm going to hone in on that pleasure so that I can give myself like that moment for 30 seconds of just sniffing up this dude next to me that smells really yummy. And remember how I asked you about your sense of smell once? I asked you if you and you said that your senses are dulled, that you don't
yeah,
smell much.
I do. I'm relatively insensitive is what I usually say.
I was really bummed about that for you.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Because I don't get to do some of the things that a lot of people get to do, like really appreciate smell or taste, except that pizza, man, I can still taste that pizza. That's so good.
Maybe I'll make you a pickle pizza. Hey, so before we finish up this episode, and this is the first time that I'm seeing your face in 2 weeks because we didn't meet last week, is that I wanted to, something's been kind of like weighing on me a little bit. Not a little bit, actually a lot of it, is that the episode where I confronted you and I said, hey, I'm having really hard feelings about the interview that we did with Sean and Andrew.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, I know you do.
I got it. Yeah.
It was really fun, by the way. So what ended up happening is that I shared with Zach, and if you haven't heard this episode, go back and watch it because I think it's pretty stinking interesting the way that this played out. I said, Zach.
Yeah, or listen to it.
Yeah, listen to it. I had really negative experience while we were doing a podcast an episode with Andrew and Sean, and I wanted to address this with you. And I had the unique experience of having an internal experience that did not match what actually happened. So what actually happened is that Zach and I had a great interview, and we, shared the same amount of airtime. He was really collaborative, basically the opposite of what my internal experience was. And we just don't have that opportunity to see how that plays out in real time because we don't have cameras in our living rooms recording every move. You can't actually hit rewind and say, wait. Your experience is not what actually happened. And there was a moment where I told you I wanted to figure out if this is a me issue or a we issue. And I had come to the conclusion that this was a we issue, something I needed to address with you. Going back and watching that interview, it was very clear to me, especially since my mother text messaged me and said, one, that was not nice of you to bring this up and spring it on Zach last minute on the podcast. She said that would have made her sweat. And two, she said, sweetie, I think you were wrong here. And I was like, you're right, Mom. I was wrong. And I wanted to let you know that I completely acknowledge that going back and watching that, there's something I need to dig in a little bit deeper. There was something very internal that was happening for me that wasn't actually happening on the outside. My perception of how you showed up was not what actually happened. And so I just want to acknowledge that I recognize that. I'm glad we talked about it because you responded in a way that strengthened our relationship. I mean, I know that I can bring stuff up to you and you can hear it and respond back. And you made it okay for me to talk to you about things that were going on for me. And I assumed you were part of it, which you were not. This was a Laura issue, not a Zach and Laura issue. So, yeah.
Thanks for saying all that. It's, of course, it's totally fine. I think it was really great. I'm glad that you were able to kind of go full circle around the whole experience for yourself. Again, the experience you had was real. It belonged to you. And I'm glad I didn't make it worse.
No, you did not.
So I can appreciate that part. And I think people really benefited from that conversation, regardless of whether it was based in reality or not. Like, I think we were able to model something that was just going to be helpful for people taking their house. We heard a lot of people, I don't know if you saw, but we got a lot of people on the Instagram saying, hey, that was really, I learned a lot. And so, yeah, totally.
Well,
I get it.
And I think in full modeling.
I don't feel like you owe me an apology, but I'll accept it.
Thank you. I'm glad. And I just wanted to come back and say I think it is important to take ownership. Like, when you're wrong, and say you're wrong. And Zach, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you have gone through this with me and allowed me to humbly accept my wrongdoing.
Right on.
With that, let's land this plane.
Okay.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. And just as a reminder, for those of you who are thinking, man, therapy might be a good option for me right now in my life, believe it or not, as we're heading into the holidays, this is one of the busiest times for Zach and myself as therapists, because this is when family occasions come up and when seasonal affective disorder becomes more prominent and when drinking becomes more escalated. There's a lot of things that happen during this time of the year between October and about February. It would be a great time for you to establish a relationship with a therapist in your area. You can do that by going to trybetterhelp.com/MTR. We've partnered with BetterHelp so that you, anywhere in the world, can get support on your terms, whether it be virtual therapy, emailing with a therapist, texting with a therapist, speaking with a therapist on the phone. It's on your terms. Go to trybetterhelp.com/MTR. Before I bid you adieu, I have a corny joke for you. What kind of a noise does a witch's vehicle make? Broom, broom. Get it? Get it? Happy Halloween, everyone. Be safe. Thanks so much for all of your time and attention, making a relationship better today than it was yesterday.